Another exhilarating performance in the NFL Week 8. Yes, that's what they call NFL Sunday. Any given Sunday, you saw the spookies. It was Halloween. Well, there were some spooky performances. The Derrick Henry situation, the Bengals losing to the New York Jets and Mike White. We'll talk about that. We'll also be getting into last night's game. Is it more bad Chiefs or bad Giants? I should say, is it more about the Chiefs or is it just the same old Giants? Also, could we be seeing a back-to-back repeat team playing in the Super Bowl in their home stadium? And we'll give you our top 10 list. Keys to the City is next.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness. In the making, double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So you can follow, like, subscribe, or share on all social media platforms, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and at Facebook. What another, like I said, exhilarating performance in the NFL. A lot of unexpected performances, I should say. Who would have thought in this week we'd be talking or seeing leading the NFL in passing, Mike White, 400 yards, Cooper Rush. But hey, that's what happens in the NFL. It's any given Sunday. We've seen it all in this entire NFL season. We'll also be talking about, like I said, repeat home team playing in the Super Bowl. It's never been done before up until last year. Could we be talking about 2 straight years? I don't know. But with the move of the Rams, I don't know. It's going to be tough to stop that team right now. And then it was Halloween on Sunday, so there was some spooky performances by the Cincinnati Bengals and poor Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry going out for the entire season, a huge, huge loss for the best, most valuable non-quarterback in the entire NFL. Was really looking forward to Sunday night's game between the Titans and Rams. Kind of loses its flavor a little by losing King Henry. But we got to start off with last night's game. This was a golden opportunity for once again, the New York Giants in a wide-open NFC wildcard race. I'm not talking about the NFC East because we all know the Dallas Cowboys have a firm grasp of the NFC East with their impressive win on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings. This is more about the wild card situation. It's very top-heavy in the NFC right now. You got the Rams, you got the Bucks, you got the Cardinals, the Packers, the Cowboys. All great. Have been exceptional. Have been the top tier of the NFL. Then you get in the bottom after the Saints. We should be starting to talk about the Saints as a contender with that defense, even though they lose. And Trevor Siemian, another guy. Who would have thought Trevor Siemian back playing well and gets a victory, a much-needed victory for those New Orleans Saints. Brady can't figure out the regular season Saints. He gets them in the playoffs, can't figure them out in the regular season. But this is about a chance to go 3-5. You get an impressive performance last week against the Carolina Panthers in a wide-open 7 seed currently in the NFC. And the New York Giants, well, once again, as we've talked about for quite some time, not just this year, not just last year, not previous years, this has been going on for the New York Giants throughout their history. It's the same old Giants, is it? Or is it the bad Chiefs? That's what it comes down to. Because last night's game, there were golden opportunities. There were opportunities for the Giants to really take advantage of those missed opportunities that were in hand, that were given to them on a silver frickin' platter by the Kansas City Chiefs. We talk about it each and every year, guys, it seems like at this point. I don't know what to make of this team. It's not surprising of last night's performance because I know people are like, oh, I can't stand it. Why do they do this? I'm not surprised. I have no reaction anymore if the Giants lose these games. I really don't. Joe is that the cartoon? Joe's not happy. I don't know if he's not happy with the Giants' performance or he's just not happy with the noise in the background. I can't tell. That's what we're going to start off with. Is last night's game, I'll start with whoever wants to speak. We know Ted loves to speak, but so.
Can I go? Let me just go first.
Okay.
Listen, I
explained. Is this about the bad Chiefs giving them opportunities, or is this just the same old New York football?
The Chiefs ran 77 plays last night. The Giants ran 56. if you give Pat Mahomes 77 chances, he's going to hit on a few. You have to know that. Again, we've talked about how basically handicapped Daniel Jones has been all year. He had 21 less opportunities than Pat Mahomes to beat him in Kansas City. Impossible task. 34, 38 to 25, 22 time of possession. Big time failure there. Again, defense played pretty well, Ted, but they were on the field for the majority of the game like they are each and every week. In those 77 plays, Pat Mahomes and company, they averaged 4.8 yards per play. That's pathetic. So the defense played well. The offense did no favors to this team. They held Kansas City to 5 for 12 on third down. These were all things I talked about being important. They had 3 sacks. They got the turnover. Again, I'll talk about this undisciplined team in a second, dropping multiple interceptions. Dropping one and then blowing another one on a stupid penalty. This team is constantly self-destructing. He coaches like they're 5-2, not like they're 2-5. I mean, give me a break. You've got nothing to lose here, dude. Why are you kicking field goals? Again, look, Elijah Penny, guy gets the ball, 8 times a year? And that's the way he reacts. That's the discipline that you're getting from Joe Judge.
Like the Giants.
Another costly penalty cost you a turnover.
Further?
This team is undisciplined. They don't play smart. That's what Joe Judge supposedly brought to the table.
Joe,
if that's what he brought to the table, his grade is a big fat F.
This is I'll give one step further. This team has been immature. I hate to say it. Since the day Odell Beckham Jr. had that one-handed catch, this team has been that same similar type of team since then. I hate to bring in Odell Beckham Jr., and he's been off the team for a couple of years now. But it feels like when they lost Tuck, when they lost those guys, OC, I know Eli was throughout all those years, but Eli was never the loud speaker. He was never the vocal type leader. He was always the quiet type leader. He did his play on the field, and he led his team on the field. It was more about Justin Tuck, Strahan, guys like that. The Giants haven't had that, and I felt like that all went away when the Giants made a move, like going to get a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. It's all about the highlights. It's all about this and that. It's all about the celebrating. This is what the New York Giants franchise has been, and it just added to when you got McAdoo, who's become
but Elijah Penny.
Yeah, no, I know, but this
really.
This is how.
Dude, I mean, that's chaos. I understand if a young guy like Kadarius Toney does it, right? You're like, okay, yeah, he's a young guy, kind of learning his way in the NFL. You know,
I just
Judge
feel
will
like this
talk
team
to
has
him.
been the same
veteran.
type of team. It's been the same type of team in the sense of losing and the sense of their maturity level. No matter who the coach was, even when Coughlin was there, they were still immature at the end of Coughlin's tenure. It just feels the exact same. And where we are currently in 2021.
This is a loser franchise.
Yes, Ted.
That's it. We're the Cleveland Browns of the NFC.
We're like the Detroit Lions. We're lucky we got 4 Super Bowls.
We are a losing franchise because losing franchises find ways to lose games. Winning franchises, I'll use the correct word. When things go wrong, they still find ways to come out through the other side of the hole or whatever you want to use as a reference. Okay. They still find out to come through the clear on the other side of the mountain. The Giants last night played Giants football. They played well on defense. They made some nice play offensively. They
ran the ball effectively too, I thought at times.
Absolutely. They didn't give up a touchdown to the Chiefs in the second half. And then Joe, as you referenced, and listen, I talked about it last week. I ended the last Friday's show on my statement saying, and Joe, you agreed with me. I said, if the Giants don't get blown out by more than 10.5 points, there's more issues with the Chiefs than are with the Giants. We know what the issues are with the Giants. I don't need to relive them. I will in a second. But the issues with the Chiefs are Mahomes fundamentally is really poor as a quarterback. I understand we love everything that he does. He's exciting. That throw he had to Tyreek Hill where he's throwing off the side, baseball throw, in the middle, hits Tyreek in the hill on the catch. I mean, in the middle of the chest. Listen, it's phenomenal. It's highlight reels. Highlight reels don't win you football games, gentlemen. They don't run the football efficiently enough. They don't execute their offense. Everything was Hail Marys all the time. Do you realize that if Mahomes wanted to, he could just check the ball off to his running backs and tight ends all day? But he doesn't want to do that. They want to get big chunks
He
of
likes to
yards.
take chances.
And if you want to go back to the Atlanta Falcons game last year late in the season when Atlanta went into them and beat them, they have not been offensively the same team. Systematically, the Falcons found something last year that everyone has replicated, and now the Chiefs don't know how to get out of it. They're not a good football team. I listened to something today. They're not a good football. Everyone's like, they're so good. Where are they good at? Yes, they have Travis Kelce, who got shut down last night. Yes, they have Tyreek Hill, who's the fastest man on the planet, other than Usain Bolt. And yes, Mahomes is a superstar. Other than that, tell me where their second best receiver is. Tell me where their running back is. Tell me where they're efficient at. They're not efficient team. They're in trouble. Their next 3 games are Green Bay, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. Could be all lost.
All could be lost.
They have the toughest schedule going forward. The Chiefs didn't play a good football game last night, and they gave every opportunity for the Giants to win. Joe, you're right. 77 plays. You can't give opportunities to a team that just better than you, and the Chiefs are. You read Joe Judge's statement. We have to eliminate the mistakes. No shit, Sherlock.
Right, that's your job. What were you doing all week? Not eliminating the mistakes?
I mean, we've been saying that since effing day one. We can't allow a team to have extra opportunities. No kidding. We can't rob ourselves of opportunities. No, I mean, who do you think we are? Idiots? We know that. We know that. Perfect example of what the Giants are all about last night. All right? You play a pretty good football game for the most part. Not great, but played well enough to win. And actually, I said in our group chat last night, the Giants should have won that game last night by more than 7 points. Okay? We'll talk about the play quick, and then early in the first half. You're down 14-7. It's 3rd and 4. Even I was listening to the Strahan and the Mannings podcast at that time because I wanted to listen to Strahan. We run a 2-yard route. Why do we run a 2-yard route when you got to get 4 yards? Run 5 yards, come back because you know you're going to get hit from behind, and catch the ball and let's get a first down. You get 2 yards. If I'm thinking you're getting 2 yards, you're going for it on 4th down. You got to score touchdowns. Then late in the game, Eli Penny, great run. We point first down like we're 6-1, like we're the best. Who are we? You're a joke, bro. You're not even a starter running back. You're a bench player that comes off and gives us 4th and 1 runs. You're pointing. You got to understand the situation. Situational, smart football. Smart teams and smart players make right decisions. Listen, I don't care if you're pointing first down. Go in the middle field where there's no one around and do it. That's not smart football.
How about just go back to the huddle?
I know that. Trev, I said that last night. I screamed last night.
Again, play with some sense of urgency. Get back to the huddle. You got momentum. Now's not the time to dance. I mean, you suck. This team sucks, and you're dancing for what?
Yeah, I know. And I waited 8 minutes, okay? Then 2nd and 7.
That's good. We need to wait. We need to keep you on hold.
Shut up. Because my analysis and breakdown of the Giants is where everyone else is at. Because I can break it all down.
I know that. We're all beating a dead horse right now. We understand.
Hold on. One more thing, Ted. Here's the thing. Help me out here, because what did Joe Judge say about all the penalties and mistakes last night? We gotta what? We gotta clean that up.
Yeah, Joe, we said that 3 weeks ago. We said
right.
That,
listen,
we said
that's what I'm trying to say.
December 5th, 2012. Giants played on Monday night against the Redskins. That's who they were at the time. They played Washington. The Giants had 9 penalties for 73 yards. The next day, Tom Coughlin used the word shocking, a shocking amount of penalties. He was angry about it. Again, this disciplinarian is an idiot.
Yeah.
We're going to clean that up. You say it every week, and every week you guys do something stupid to blow a game.
Guys,
and ultimately, Teddy, like you said at the beginning of what you started saying, the Giants continue to play Giants football, which is to try to not lose the game.
Exactly. And that's why you're 2-6. You drop passes when it's 2nd and 7. Darius Slayton, it hits you in the hands. Trade him. Goodbye. I've seen enough of that.
Guys,
hold on. Listen, this is what bad teams do. You drop a pass, then it's 3rd and 2. The way the Giants were running the football, like you said, Trev, could have got the first down, right? We go off sides when we pick off Mahomes. Another thing, didn't we see that before? Wait, Dexter Lawrence went off sides when we could have won the game there. Then you look at the 2-minute drive. It's just the culmination of 10 penalties, bad execution, undisciplined, leads you to a game where you should have easily won that game and you failed to do so again. This organization is a failure. You can blame it on Daniel Jones. You can blame it on the coach. We got guys hurt again. Shepard hurt again. Another guy that can't stay on the field. Darius Slayton can't catch the ball. Offensive line has not improved since Gettleman. This is a disaster. And listen, look at the bad teams for all those years. The Bengals, the Browns, the Jets are still bad. The Lions. It's like a avalanche. It just continues to grow, and as it gets farther down the mountain, it just encompasses everyone. And the Giants are a bad team. You can blame Joe Judge, but it's got to stem from the top. It's got to be other coaches, the assistant coaches, discipline. It's got to also be on the players. Once in a while, you got to look in the mirror and do the right thing.
Look, realistically, we can, Joe. I'm going to count you though, but we realistically can have an hour show just on the Giants. That's where it's.
It would mostly be what we're saying, and it would mostly be angry. I want to just say one thing about the Chiefs. I don't believe the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs this year.
My Chiefs Super Bowl, cut them now. They are not winning.
It's glad we said that because Friday we will be going back into the NFL and talking about mid-season recap. We are at almost the midway point. I know there's 17 games, but we will have our predictions. We'll have surprises, disappointments, and we could even give new Super Bowl predictions because it looks like all three of our Super Bowl predictions one side may be true, but the other side definitely may not be coming true, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk about that all on Friday, so stay tuned for that. All I'm going to say is finish up. We're just beating a dead horse. We're beating up on a dead horse right now because it's literally the same thing we've been talking about. It's kind of like how we were talking about the Yankees throughout this entire season. The same issues that stemmed from day one, stemmed all the way to the very end. It's happening again with the New York Football Giants, but this has been going on for years now. I could even say it relates to the Yankees too because the same thing's been happening for the years for both teams. It's just the same thing each and every week or each and every season. That's why they're a bad franchise. That's why they've been at the bottom of the food chain for a while now. And that's why they've become a laughingstock. And that's why, here's my final point.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it's weird that Dave Gettleman has brought in all inexperienced coaches in his tenure?
I mean, how do you figure? Jason Garrett.
No, because I mean head coaches. Because other than really Shermer, nobody's really had experience.
So at the time, McAdoo was going to be a head coach, whether it was going to be the Giants or it was going to be somewhere else. He was eventually going to be a head coach. Shermer already was a head coach for the Browns. That was a quick stint with that.
Yeah, not a good one.
I don't have a problem.
And then Judge was
because a lot of the great coaches have come as coordinators. Brian Staley, the coach for the Chargers.
Listen, this is New York.
No, I know.
This isn't Detroit. But
LA. Listen, LA, Philly. You can bring in assistant coaches. I mean, listen.
Think about the most successful coaches in Giants history.
Listen,
the only two guys with experience.
Parcells didn't have experience. Oh, he did in college.
He did. He came there with a reputation. He also got handed the job because of Ray Perkins. That very well could have been Ray Perkins that took the Giants to 2 championships in the 80s. He made the decision to go back to Bama. That was his bad, and it worked out for Bill Parcells.
I don't see an issue. Tomlin didn't have any experience when he went to Pittsburgh, and you're talking about an organization that had 3 coaches in the last 60 years.
I'm talking about New York. I'm talking about being able to handle New York. I'm talking about being able to talk to the media, talk to the media and not have me call you an idiot.
Well,
I didn't call Tom Coughlin an idiot ever.
Well, we don't know how Eric Bieniemy would have handled it if he was a Giant. I'm just saying,
I'm not advocating for Eric Bieniemy. I think the Giants would be lucky to scoop up somebody like Mike Tomlin in the event he's let go this year.
That's a Giant guy.
He would flourish in New York. The media would run with his headlines, but that they need somebody that can handle it. Right now, it's just the same old situation. My last point before we get on to a team that is going to be going extremely far into this season. When you have a team, you're playing against a team that has given up last in yards, giving up 28 points per game. The only time that has a team that scored lower point totals are the Washington football team. There's a problem when you can't score 20 points on this Kansas City Chiefs team. That's all I'm leaving it at. That's all I'm leaving it at. That's it. I'm leaving it at that. When you score 17 points against a defense that's been god-awful this entire season, That's an issue. They got to make major changes. I don't know what's going to happen. There's an hour and a half, or I think another 20 minutes. I think
hour and a half. 4 o'clock.
Hour and a half left of the trade deadline. We'll see what happens. Don't know if the Giants are going to make any moves, if they're going to fire sale.
They're not trading Evan Ingram.
But
on the bright side, this is a 4-13 team, and that first round pick's going to be good.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Because the one with the Bears is getting worse every day.
Here's my final thing.
Joe, you have faith in that? The Giants can't draft for.
That's another thing. Yeah, the Giants have. Yeah, you say it's another. It's another year. It's another year where, the Giants will get a top 5 pick. Well,
but listen, the Giants are. Look, there's talent on the Giants. I don't think anybody can deny there's talent on the Giants. The injuries, the terrible coaching, the conservative play calling, all the mistakes, all the foolishness out on the field right now. But the Giants' areas of concern are very, very clear. You could almost not screw this draft. I mean, it would be really hard with 2 first-round picks not to address your offensive line and your pass rush.
Well, we'll talk about all that.
I mean, they're not stupid. That's got to be the easiest thing in the world. But they'll probably end up taking a running back and a tight end or some nonsense. But
we'll see.
It seems like this team could be on its way. And I think it's unfortunate, but it's frustrating, and I'm done. I don't want to say anything else about it because I'm just going to get pissed again.
Well, that's segment one. How about this, Ted? That segment went for 21 minutes and 34 seconds.
I'd like an hour to just scream about how much I hate.
Like I said, we could just talk if we really wanted to. We could have just talked right for the whole damn show about the Giants for a quick 30, 45-minute show if we wanted to. That's where it was going, and I trust me, I could talk the Giants forever too. I understand that, but we got to get into other teams too. We got to get in to teams that are performing at a high level, not teams.
About a team that beat the Giants' brains in a few weeks ago. Yeah, all right, see, I'm doing it again. We're going right back to the Giants. We can't get away from the Giants. See, they're breaking us heart. They're breaking our hearts. That's what they're doing. Just when they think they have us in, they let us go. They got Von Miller from the Broncos.
Oh yeah, well the big news yesterday. The big news yesterday is. And we've been talking about going all in for many teams in the past, and this is the same old team they just don't care about their future, and good for them, because sometimes when you make moves like this, it eventually works out in your favor. And that's the LA Rams. Right now, the big trade of the entire trade deadline season has been the trade of Von Miller going to the LA Rams, which he will be wearing his college football number 40, and already a dominant defense in this NFL, and already a dominant all-around football team. You just added another legit pass rusher to this team. You look at this team right now in general against anybody on paper, you got to put the LA Rams within your top 3, top 2. Hell, you probably might want to put them at number 1. They look like the best team in football currently right now. And I know you're looking at me crazy. That's fine. But
no, I'm not.
We saw last year.
Don't remember if I put them at 1 or not.
I will talk about that. We can't give a surprise. The surprise has to wait for the people that are watching. Last year we saw something historic. We saw the first time ever a team playing inside their home stadium in the Super Bowl. It worked out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now could we be seeing a repeat, not a repeat champion, but could we be seeing a repeat home team playing in Super Bowl 56 this year? I'll start off with Ted.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean,
all right, Ted, you don't want to be ready? You don't want to be ready? You want to stay on your phone?
No, hey, listen.
I got to go to plan B. I'll go to plan B. Joe,
I was just trying to see if there was any updated trade deadline issues.
I've been on the phone. No, I've been on the phone.
Come on, Shefty. Listen, right now, I mean, the
Giants are not Shefty right now. We're on updates.
Giants are not trading Evan Ingram. Watson's not getting traded. It doesn't look like Beckham's going to get moved from Cleveland either.
All right, well, let's talk about this.
I would say from this, like, I told you last night, people are like, why did the Denver trade Von Miller? And I was explaining something why the Giants should do what Evan Ingram is. You're only going to get a compensatory pick at the end of the season because you're both not going to re-sign either player. So Von Miller was traded for a 2nd and 3rd round pick. Instead, Denver would have got a 5th round in compensatory. It's a great move for Denver. They're not winning right now. You give a great player and a Hall of Fame player an opportunity to win another Super Bowl. He adds great value to the Rams. The Rams now team him up with Aaron Donald and and Floyd on the outside. You have Jalen Ramsey. They have one of the better defenses in the league. We know what type of offense I have. This is an all-in-win move. I think they have 3 picks next year. I think it's not, and they don't have a pick till like the 5th or 6th round, but who cares? See, this is the thing. Where in the draft next year are you going to find a Von Miller? Where are you going to get an impactful player like that? This is a win mode now. That's why they went for Stafford. This is where people are like, oh, is Stafford really that better than Jared Goff? Look at what Matthew Stafford is now, where your mindset is on Matthew Stafford this year compared to where it's been the past 10 seasons. You know what people should start good? People should give a parade for Matthew Stafford for dealing with the Detroit Lions for the past 10 years.
Look at that team right now. Look at them.
Think about it. Jared Goff hasn't won a football game without Sean McVay. And Matthew Stafford looks like the best quarterback in the league right now. That's the difference between 2 organizations. One that's going all in and making the right moves. Listen, that's why they're trading Deshaun Jackson because he's not going to. I mean, Vance Jefferson. I mean, they're still doing it without Cam Akers. They got Sony Michel. Their offensive line is top 5 offensive line. They have one of the better defensive lines. Do they have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely. The only thing I would question is because the NFC is so highly stacked, you don't know which best team right now is. Listen, this time last year, we did not have Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. Trev, you were about another week or 2 away from saying that.
I was coming. I was on.
You were starting.
You guys thought I was crazy. But you know what? Sometimes crazy wins.
You were on the caboose, and you were starting to move to the front of the train. You were paying your dues, and then
wait. What do you mean paying my dues front of the train? I'm the smart one. I'm the smart one. It seems like you guys.
You're missing the whole point. It's like
no, I know. You just got to follow the leader.
It's like the Snowpiercer. The 3rd class people go to the back of the train. The 1st class you were in the back of the train, but you were moving up slowly on Tampa Bay, and now you're in the front of the train. You're riding that train, and you have been. Who the hell's knocking on the window?
Uh-oh.
Mom's not scared the shit out of me. It's Mom. She's at the window. Like,
well,
what the hell?
I'll put you off for a second.
Listen, can they do it? Yes. They have the formula to do it. They have the defense.
Don't leave Mom outside.
Hold on 1 second. They have the defense that scared me. Literally, I had the goosebumps. Oh my God. They have the defense to do it. But now they have the personnel to do it. Okay. They have the coach to do it. Health-wise, that's going to be the biggest issue right now. Kyle Murray, I just read, has a sprained ankle, could be out this week, maybe another week. Will we look at that as a similar situation how Dallas handled Dak's ankle? Do you rest him and see what the progression will be down the thing because he's so valuable to the team? Hold on a second, Jesus, Mother and Joseph.
Go get her. Go get her. I'll put you off for a second. Go get her. Only him. See, I don't need to worry about that stuff because Ted's getting called by moms. But Joe, you look at this team right now, and this team is clicking on all cylinders, defensively and offensively. And I know you wanted to see more from Matthew Stafford this year because he's been in that situation for quite some time. Well, he's been delivering. And I give teams credit like this, like the Buccaneers, going all in and going to get a Brady. This is a Brady-type move in the sense of like going to get a Stafford, going to get a Von Miller. They know that their future is – they don't care about their future. They don't care about draft picks because they're in win-now mode, and that's what you have to do in situations like that. They're not content. Teams like this ultimately win in the end because, yeah, they might down the road, their dynasty, whatever they want to call it, will eventually fall away or break apart. But you got to also take into consideration, this is a team that's going to be competing for championships now for some time. They're not going away. So if they win 2 or 3 championships, don't you ultimately win all of that? Instead of worrying about the future?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, Sean McVay might not be there in 2024 and 2025 when they're 5-12, and that's coming.
Ultimately, those days will come.
It's going to catch up to them, but you're right. Listen, you've got a great team. Your defense is outstanding. You went all in. You went out and got Matthew Stafford, and as I've told, he's on my fantasy team. I had another 4 touchdown game.
You're about to lose that bet real badly.
Yeah, I don't care. As long as I win that fantasy league, it evens off, in the end. That's how it works.
Fantasy, chicken
But look, to me, this is, I don't want to bring them up, but that franchise in New Jersey, here's where you go all in.
He's bringing the Giants again.
I'm not even bringing them up. I just said from New Jersey. Maybe I'm talking about the Jets. You don't know.
Maybe talking about the Bills.
I'm talking about the Giants. Listen, this is the way you go about doing it. You go out there, you get the guys that you need. Look at this. Happy
Hi, Mom.
birthday, by the way.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you. Hi,
You're
everybody.
welcome.
We're getting interrupted by the peanut gallery.
This is great.
No,
Trev,
it's not.
she brought me.
Come
She's like,
on.
I brought you
We got
butter.
business. We got business to do. We got
Trev, she's
business
like,
to take care of.
Trevor, like Home Alone, she bought milk, eggs, and fabric softener.
I have to go shopping. in a
And
few
toilet
minutes.
paper.
Oh, and toilet paper. Bye, moms.
Perfecto.
Bye. Love you guys.
Love you
Love
too.
you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay, honey.
Hey, it's okay. We get. Hey, mom's
All right.
got to get some. That's the mom. That's the one that created these handsome ass gentlemen. That's the one. Well, we were just talking, Ted, about
Yeah, listen. Back to my point. Look, you had the makings of a really good team here. You were a couple pieces short. You went out and you got it. And any situation they've run into really in the last year, they will expend the resource and go out and make it happen. So it's doable. It's doable. You can do this in the NFL. You just have to commit to it.
And they have the personnel and they have the right coach. And I tell you, if you're a Rams fan going forward, you gotta love where this organization is going. And you think about the moves they've made in a couple years. You question the Jalen Ramsey giving up all those draft picks.
Well, Ted, this is what I was saying to Joe before you went away, and I want you to answer this question because it'll relate to what you're
I'll
trying
answer
to
it
say.
quick.
And yeah, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if
Yeah,
that's true. My thing is that down the road their future may not look great, but if you can win 2 to 3 championships, wouldn't you take that over the future right now?
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing, and I think the way the Rams watched Tampa Bay do the same thing last year, bringing in Gronk, bringing in AB, bringing in personnel like that,
bringing in Brady.
Because here's the thing. If you're a team like the Rams or the Arizona Cardinals, especially the Cardinals and like the Chargers, the teams that are paying the young quarterbacks, you can go all in and make these moves. You know what I mean? Or if you got a Tom Brady who you're taking, serious pay cuts. But the Rams are making smart moves, and there's not a guy right now that you're going to go, well, I got to wait till next year to draft. No, we don't want next year. We want now. We want to win now. We have the championship, everything. We have the personnel. We have the coach. This is why you trade the first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey, because tell me where those first-round picks go. Well, the Jags. Hold on. Tell me the guy that's Jalen Ramsey caliber right now. He's not there. So you trade because Von Miller is going to be like a relief pitcher. You're going to bring him on third downs, crucial situations. He's going to – I wouldn't play him – I would have him on a pitch count because I want him rest and fresh for the season.
What I wanted to finish off with 2 things is, in all fairness, this is the Buccaneers, a team that was probably a quarterback away from possibly competing for a championship because they had the talent. The Rams, they were a playoff team already. Probably a couple pieces away, getting a new quarterback, and maybe just adding to the team the talent that they had. In all fairness, there's a difference between teams like this and a team like the Giants or a team that's bad. That can't go all in because realistically, it's not going to work for teams like this.
You only go all in when you're there.
That are this close to performing and winning a championship. Then you go all in with the mentality. So I don't want
if I was the Bills,
the
Bills, I'd make a move. The Chargers.
I was just trying to say.
Those are teams that I would make moves of. And I think this move also says the Rams go, who are we going to play in the playoffs? We got to play Aaron Rodgers. We got to play Tom Brady. We got to play Kyler Murray. We got to play Dak Prescott. All 4 could be your 1, 2, 3, or 4 in MVP race. That is the reason why you make a move for Von Miller.
And I didn't want people to get confused with what I was trying to say. We're not just saying any team could just go all in and everything will be fine. And
of course not. You got to understand the situation.
But a team like the Rams and a team like the Buccaneers, who were that close, make moves like that, and now look where the situations are. They're going to be competing for championships.
The Ravens, the Bills, the Chargers.
I wanted to ask you quick, Joe.
Joe,
I wanted to ask you quick, percentage-wise, what's the chances we see another home team in their home stadium playing on Super Bowl Sunday? Or I should say the Rams, because right now the Chargers look like they're going backwards, and the Rams are going that way. What are the chances? What's your percentage if you had them say it right now?
25%.
Wow. Okay. Ted?
That was where I was going to go, 20%. Because here's the thing. I just said it before. The NFC is so highly stacked. The top 5 teams are so there. You can make an argument for all 5 of the top teams as the best team in the NFL and the best team in the NFC. Even though Tampa Bay, I want to see. Don't talk to me about Tampa Bay this week. Tell me what Tampa Bay when they're going to have Gronk and AB and their secondary back. Then let's see what you're saying in 5 or 6 weeks about the Bucs. You know what I mean? The Cardinals, let's see them fully healthy. Let's see the Rams with their personnel. And then, the Green Bay. Let's see them with Devontae Adams and some of their pieces back.
I'm going 45%. I think with that home crowd, with that team clicking on all
that's not a
cylinders.
home crowd. Do you remember when they played Dallas, or the Chargers played?
That's the Chargers. Nobody likes the Chargers. Nobody
I'm
cares
just
for
saying,
Chargers.
look, with
The
the
Rams, when they play
Packers, Cardinals, Bucks, the Saints are good, the Cowboys are good. 45%? You think they're going to roll over everybody?
Not roll over, but I'm confident enough that I don't see them rolling over anybody, but I could see them being in the situation and playing on Super Bowl Sunday. They're that talented. And because they're just clicking on all cylinders. There's not really a glaring weakness. And the one weakness that we thought was possibly their running game. And Darnell Henderson has been a huge bright spot for that team. So that's why I'd say they don't really have a lot of weaknesses. Kind of like last year's Buccaneers team. They didn't have a lot of weaknesses going down the stretch, and it showed, and that's why they won a championship. I'm sticking with that with the Rams too. Let's get into. I saw Joe just kind of giving off a look. Ted, shut up.
Hold on. You shut the hell up. You say 40.
Anyways, so
but
he
was a Bucks fan. Though. Don't be a scum. Don't be an ass.
I'm gonna mute you because you don't shut up. Shut up.
Here.
Shut up.
I don't care. You should care a little. It's a show.
I'm trying to get to my next. I'm looking out for you. You have time. You don't have time. You have to go to work in a little. I'm trying to help your ass out. So shut it.
We're good. We're good.
We're good. Yeah. We're good. I saw Joe a little while. Speaking of family affairs today on this show, brought to you by Keys to the City, Family Affairs. Ted's bringing out Mom. I see Joe giving the stiff arm a little. Speaking of stiff arms, we will not be getting to see the great stiff arm of Derrick Henry this season and much more of it, as he looks like his season may very well be done for the year. It was a spooky Halloween for the Tennessee Titans. Even though they got the win, they ultimately lose by losing one of the best players in all of the NFL. And the Cincinnati Bengals, high and mighty after a huge win against the Baltimore Ravens, come in and lay a dud. Yeah, they scored 31 points. But by the way, they gave up 34. So usually if you don't score more than 34 in that situation, you lose. So the Cincinnati Bengals ended up losing to the once 1-6 New York Jets, now the 2-6 Jets. Something or nothing for either team. Joe?
That was a really bad loss for the Bengals coming off the high. I said a lot of nice things about them, particularly about their defense. I'm going to take a lot of it back. This could also just be one of those fluke games. I'll see how the Bengals respond to it, and I'll give you a better answer next week. As far as the Titans are concerned, I think you could end up saying this Julio Jones trade might be the best thing that ever happened to this team.
Yeah,
because they're going to have to throw the football a lot. I know they brought Adrian Peterson in, and they got that Nichols fellow. We'll see what happens, but A.J. Brown's been outstanding.
He's been on his hair.
He has been outstanding.
The Saints called for Philip Rivers.
I could see that.
Philip Rivers said he would come back. Maybe they should call Breeze.
I'm curious why they didn't call Breeze.
Why don't they call Cam?
I don't know. I think there's cap.
Why don't they call Cam?
I'm telling you.
Why do we want to bring back old players?
Because the NFL is.
Yeah, we know. We know. That's a BS excuse.
Listen, they listen. You can beat your child, beat your wife. You can get 7 chances, but other guys can't get a real thing.
If the issue is that he's vaccinated, if the issue was the vaccination, he's vaccinated. So there shouldn't be any excuse as to why Cam Newton's not on an NFL team. Right I thought that was the main reason, right? Because,
for Sean Payton to say we're all set in the quarterback room, it's like, bro, have you looked in the quarterback room today? Yeah. You're not all set. You're not even close to all set. You're less than set, buddy.
I mean, here's my thing about the Bengals. The Bengals played to the level of the competition this week. They're playing the Browns this week, which is a huge test for both teams. The Cleveland Browns could realistically be 4-5 after the midway point, and the Cincinnati Bengals could be 6-3. This is a huge game, a huge telling sign moving forward. Now you come off, and it just shows the lack of, I guess, maturity. You come off of a huge monumental win over the Baltimore Ravens, who you haven't been able to beat in years. And then they scored 31 points. But you laid a dud. You played against a team in the Jets who had their third string quarterback in Mike White, and he delivered for 400 yards and had the most passing yards in the league. And a second string.
Josh Johnson's their third string.
Well, only because they don't have a third string guy there.
Well, they do. Josh Johnson.
But that's my point is that you had an opportunity. This is games you have to win. These are games that you look back when you come down and you're not the division leader, and the Baltimore Ravens have a 1-game lead over you, and you look back and you're like, how the hell did we lose to the New York Jets? I mean,
so did the
Jets,
Titans.
Inspiring win. And
I just think this isn't, we talked about it last week, how serious you should take Cincinnati. I think somebody said maybe next year. It was at you, Teddy. Next year is a little more realistic. Super Bowl teams don't lose to the Jets.
Joe, I'll agree with you.
All right, here's the thing. These two teams are the two teams that lost to the Jets that Trev has on the screen, the Bengals and Titans, which is pretty remarkable. Considering, hold on. You want to ask Joe a question?
No, all I was going to say is one quick point. I was going to say, Joe, I agree with what your statement is. I want to see how this Bengals team reacts this week, and we'll see if it's a more telling sign if they lose again to the Browns or if they deliver and they beat up on the Browns. Then okay, we'll see. But right now, I'll agree with you on that.
But I'll say this. Here's the thing. I said this last week about the Bengals. They are really good, but they're still a year away of maturity and everything because you got to learn how to win. All right, they've been a losing franchise for so long that you have to learn how. It takes time. This is the NFL. This is not overnight success that you just think you're going to go from 0 to 100 real quick. The Bengals are a good football team, but they're not a great football team. Okay, we've seen this already in the NFL. The Chargers got smoked against the Ravens, the Chargers ain't that good. Next week, the Ravens get smoked against the Bengals. It happens because you get hyped up for a game a week before, and then you have a downer week. You don't know why. You would think they're mature enough as adults to handle it, but it's the NFL. It happens. The Titans, I still have faith in the Titans. Derrick Henry is the most valuable player, not a quarterback in the NFL. But I think if you're going to talk about one team that really emulates their team, it's the Tennessee Titans. Tough, hard-nosed, like Mike Vrabel. If you think about it, ever since that bad loss against the Jets, they've been on a roll. They swept the Colts this season. That's another big win they had this weekend on the road, considering Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that was your only competition in the AFC South.
Hey, by the way, don't forget, they were coming off a win against the Colts when they lost to the Jets.
So, yes. So, here's a situation where Ryan Tannehill, you're going to have to earn your keep and your money. Julio Jones' trade is now going to seem that much more important because he's got to learn how to stay on the field and help me out, especially I got him in fantasy. I mean, Jesus, dude, do something for me. Do something because A.J. Brown is a beast, all right? I'm surprised they haven't made any other special moves right now, but they're the best team right now in the AFC record-wise. Now, without Derrick, the record, they are the number one seed in the AFC, the Tennessee Titans. All right, just by record-wise. They right now are not a Super Bowl team without Derrick Henry. I think there's still an opportunity, though, if they can get the first-round bye or get to the late season, that he will have an opportunity to come back late in the season, possibly division or AFC champ. Think about it. It's an extra week, 17. That gives you an extra week of him rest. So if they can get to the playoffs and somehow get through the first week of wild card in the second round, maybe there's a chance for Derrick Henry. That's a humongous loss for a team that's been riding high and right now playing the best football other than the Buffalo Bills. But listen, it's the AFC is wide open. Spin the wheel like Wheel of Fortune and pick your team because that's how it goes from week in to week out. We've done this every week with rankings, the Bengals, then the Ravens, then the Chargers, then the Bills, now the Titans. Who's the best team in the AFC? Stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Well, yeah, for the Bengals, yeah, I'm with Joe. See how they respond after in a huge divisional game against the Browns. And then the Titans, yeah, losing anybody like a player of his magnitude of Derrick Henry. Yeah, you go sign AP. He'll get into the groove of things in the next coming weeks. But this is all on now. Tannehill, that offensive line, and those receivers. This is where you want to go trade for Julio Jones. And that defense is going to have to play that much more impressive throughout the season. Yeah, you have a 6-2 record. But are they the number one team in our AFC power rankings in the sense of are they the first team that comes into our top 10 list? And we're going to start off with our Week 8 top 10 teams. And I'm looking for the first time we all have a new number one team after the fall of the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll start off. I'm going to start off with my list. This time. So here's my top 10 currently in the NFL right now.
I think you got the Cardinals way too low.
That's how I feel.
But it's fine. At the end of the day, it's really how you feel.
That's how I truly feel about each team. I feel like the Rams are the most complete team currently in the NFL. I think the Cowboys, with the win that they had on Sunday Night Football without Dak Prescott, the way that defense played well, and the way that offense found ways to win the game. Back in the day, we've seen Dallas find ways to lose games like this. They found a way to win. The Dallas Cowboys, to me, other than the Rams, boy, oh boy, that's a scary, scary-ass team to play coming with Dak and a full healthy team. The Packers, another huge, impressive win with key components out. The Bills, I think the Bills are I say the Bills are the best team in the AFC right now, especially. Josh Allen, I know they played the Dolphins, but you got to beat up on the bad teams. We just talked about with the Bengals. You have to beat up on bad teams, and that's what the Bills did. Josh Allen looks fine. The Bills are going to be fine going ahead. I got the Bucs falling. I know they lost, but I'm still staying with that Bucs team in the top 5 just because of the fact that they are not 100% healthy. When this team has everybody intact, this team, maybe other than the Rams, are the most complete team in all of the NFL. The Cardinals drop off. I said I didn't like the way they responded last week on Thursday night. Had opportunities, didn't look good throughout the game, but they still are legit in the NFC. Titans, losing Derrick Henry, loses value and flavor to that team, but they're still going to be fine. They're going to win their division with ease. The Raiders, huge loss today. Henry Ruggs looks like his NFL career could be coming, his short tenure as an NFL player, could be coming to an end after involved in a fatal car accident, DUI, that he will be charged with with manslaughter as well. So a death is involved. It's a shame, but you know what? What the hell are you doing out at 3:40 in the morning? Nothing ever good comes from being out after 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You dumb people, dumb ass players. I don't understand it. You have everything and you want to waste it away. And then I want to close out with the Ravens. I still love Lamar Jackson. I still say with all those injuries, they're playing well. They're coming off the bye. We'll see how they play this week. But I know the last time we saw them, they got their rear ends kicked. And the surprise, the New England Patriots, boy, oh boy, Mac Jones is playing well, the best rookie quarterback by far right now. And Bill Belichick's got something up his sleeve once again as he is creating some intrigue in New England once again, and why he is considered the greatest coach of all time for reasons. This Patriot team is getting good. This defense is playing well, and that offense is starting to click with Mac Jones. Look out for the New England Patriots. That's my top 10. We got any reason to criticize?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
It's all opinionated. Who am I to criticize?
Well, we all like that. We all have
discussions. Joe, just saw a stat. The Giants' 10 penalties last night was the second most penalties they had this season, only to the Week 2 game against Washington where they had 11.
Both games.
In the way, think about how they lost too. Just saying.
So we'll get into Ted's list now. Me and Ted actually have the top 3 teams in the current NFL right now. Same 3 teams. Cardinals, okay.
I have 5. The top 5 are NFC. The next
you still
5
have the Bengals. Okay.
The top 5 are the NFC. The next 5 are AFC.
What do we think?
The 5 teams in the NFC are much better than the AFC teams right now when fully healthy and ready to go. Sorry, they're better. The only exception
I say the Bills can match up with anybody in the NFL.
I almost agree with you, Ted.
Which one would you change?
I have the Bills at number 5.
Buck 6.
And I have the Cowboys at 6.
So here's his top 10 list since he's talking.
I think you got to move the Cowboys up.
I think the Cowboys
right now.
I'll tell you what. Right, I've underestimated the Packers from game 1.
Well, that's fine with the Packers. I think the Cowboys.
Slow down. Let me get you there. The Cardinals. Look, one bad loss, dude. That's still a really great team.
Yes.
You got to have the Rams ahead of them because they just beat them. But that's an easy 1, 2, 3. And the Bucs are the Bucs. The Bucs are the Bucs. I'm taking Tom Brady over Dak Prescott. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, but here's the thing. The other night with Cooper Rush, those are games in the past that Cowboys would have found a way to lose. Because
the way they won.
They're a different team this year. If you look at their team as a whole, there's no flaws. They have a playmaker at all 3 levels.
Defense is all right, but their defense.
Well, they do have a flaw, and his name is Mike McCarthy, and he's an idiot. And so I'm going to take Bruce Arians and Tom Brady over Dak and Mike McCarthy for the time being.
That's why I had the Cowboys too when the Rams won, because I said in our CMG podcast chat last night, and I forget who one of the gentlemen who does another podcast said, "Why do you have the Cowboys at 2?" And I said, "Because I trust McVay over Mike McCarthy." But the Cowboys, listen, have with Dak Prescott healthy, they have the best receivers. They have a great running game, great 2 running backs. They have an offensive line that's solid. For the first time, their tight ends are producing. They have an impactful player on defense in Randy Gregory. They will get DeMarcus Lawrence back. They have an impactful player linebacker in Michael Parsons, who might be the best linebacker in football already. Okay, and everyone didn't want him because he didn't do the right thing. All right, well, he could play football. Trevon Diggs is one of the best cornerbacks, and he's a playmaker. Anthony Brown has played really good number 2 cornerback. They still have Van Der Esch. They still have playmakers. And if you watch that defense, they're quick, they're fast, and they have a good kicker in Zerline. And you like where they are going. This is a team where in the past they would have lost 1 or 2 of the games. The Vikings game they would have lost, and they would have lost one of the other games just because it would have been a Dallas Cowboy. And you're like, how is Dallas 4-3? That's why they're 7-1 or 6-1 because they had the bye. But the Cowboys right now might be the best team in the NFL. No one wants to fully give them the credit they're due because you're just wondering when the tumble is going to come, because we're so used to it for the past 26 seasons, 25, 26 years. So, but either way, listen, we're going to find out soon enough. The Rams right now, I think all 3 of us had the Rams at number 1. I think they're the best overall team right now. I couldn't put the Packers ahead of the Cowboys because I still think the Packers are flawed. I still think they're flawed.
They still have Rodgers. Anytime you have Rodgers, but the way, especially when he plays against Dallas, you know how he has magic always on Dallas in situations like that. And I'm glad Joe brought that up. They do have a big flaw, the Dallas Cowboys, and I've said it too. It's Mike McCarthy. They're complete all around. Defensively, they have vastly improved with Dan Quinn. They look like a solid, not top 10 defense, but right in the pack of. Right there, they're right on. I think
they're probably top 10.
They're okay, so they're probably right at that tier. Okay, top 10 tier list,
8 to 10.
But yeah, I would. Okay, that's fine. But their offense, we already know how great their offense is. My question comes down to: I have no faith in Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, but he hasn't screwed it up though. You looking for him to screw up.
He's had situations where there still is issues coming down. Yeah, I mean,
when
you're winning and you have the talent that surrounds your team, you don't have to worry about those situations. Those go unnoticed. If they were to lose those games, then they becoming issues like we're having with New York, Joe. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, but New York Giants. That's what happens with
I'm thinking it.
Don't think I'm not thinking it. Hey, Joe, I got to ask you one thing. What'd you think I had the Raiders in the top 10? Are you surprised?
I'm thrilled. You and I both have them at number 9. I mean, that's a legit team right there.
I think the loss of Henry Ruggs now will be something that will go noticed because anytime you lose a guy like that with speed, that's unfortunate. Huge fan of Derek Carr, though. I think he's playing great. I mean, these teams, all in all, they're all great teams.
And the trade deadline.
I wouldn't have dared put the Patriots. I thought you two would have laughed me off the show.
No, Joe.
Apparently, you're both on the mac and cheese train. I like it.
Joe, I said to Trev last night, take away the first game of the season where they had a new rookie quarterback and a late fumble on that by the running back. I think it was Damian Harris. They beat the Dolphins. Okay, they took the Bucs to the woodshed. And just at the end, just fell a little short. They took Dallas to the woodshed. And if it wasn't for the overtime miscue at the end, they had them too. This team could be 7-1. This is a team that you do not want to play down the stretch because Mac Jones is developing more confidence week in and week out. They got a great running game with multitude of guys that can run the ball. They got tight ends that can catch the ball, and their defense is sound. And and you have Belichick, and here's the thing: they don't beat themselves. You have to beat them.
Other than the Dolphins,
team that if other than the Ravens and Bills, what other team would you put third? I'd put the Patriots third. You think the Bengals are better than the Patriots? Go line up on wild card weekend. Bet you the Patriots beat the Bengals. Bet you the Patriots beat the Bengals.
Here's what I would say.
And then I'd also say watch out for the Steelers because they're the only team that scored less than 20 points a game. They're one of the worst offenses in football and they have a winning record.
My thing would be final about the Patriots as they've taken those teams to the limit. They've literally, I mean, the Dolphins, yeah, that was a blunder, but they've had blunders in the past couple of years like that. This is a team that's getting better. And I even said it on draft night. When the Patriots drafted Mac Jones, it was one of the steals of the draft alongside the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. I think those two are going to flourish. Just get Justin Fields a competent head coach, and he will flourish.
No, get him an offensive line.
We'll get him an offensive line too. But Matt Nagy is I understand that. They need an offensive line drastically. Mac Jones is in a perfect situation. And for him to I don't know if he would have flourished in maybe San Fran. I don't know. We'll never know, but he's flourishing right now in New England, and it was a steal, and that's why I keep saying it was one of the better picks of the entire draft. Boy, San Fran's probably shaking their heads. They heard from fans. That's why you don't listen to fans. I know we criticized it, but don't listen to us. We're fools. That's why we call ourselves fans. What the hell do we know? They should have said, let's take Trey Lance. They're going to really take Mac Jones?
Well, listen, like I said all last year, if you think completing 75% of your passes in the SEC at the highest level of college football, anybody can do it, you're an idiot.
No.
I told you. Dude, don't forget, this kid was a junior. Okay, he could have stayed at Alabama another year. I thought that would have been in his best interest, but after 14 games as a starter, he proved he's legit. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you one more bold prediction. I think Mac Jones will end up being better than Joe Burrow.
That is bold.
Here's the thing. Organizationally, you could say that because who's playing for the Bengals and who's playing for the Patriots. And the trust in the organization is a lot of the reason why these quarterbacks are who they are and how they become. That's what, I mean, would Tom Brady be Tom Brady if he didn't go to the Patriots and didn't play for Bill Belichick and Drew Bledsoe never gets hurt? We never know. The same thing with Lou Gehrig. If Wally Pipp didn't want the damn day off, who knows if we ever hear about Lou Gehrig. But he wanted a day of rest, and he never got his job back again. That's the story. That's the story of the NFL. Listen, one man's loss is another man's gain.
Dude, right? I mean, if Wally Pipp had a Gatorade before that game, you might not know who Lou Gehrig is.
Yeah,
or the Yankees.
That's a bold prediction right there.
That's a bold move, Brian.
That's a bold picture. That's definitely a bold prediction. But hey, there's years to make decisions on that, and we'll see how it goes out. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be talking Friday midseason recap. Biggest disappointments, biggest surprise. Is Mac Jones the Rookie of the Year? There's some good cases for Offensive Rookie of the Year. How about Defensive Rookie of the Year, MVPs? And we'll change. Looks like we're going to have to change our Super Bowl predictions because it doesn't look like that's going to be the case for a repeat Super Bowl. And we'll see. Could we have new World Series champions tonight in the Atlanta Braves, or will we see the best words in sports, Game 7 for the World Series? We'll talk about that. We'll have to end up discussing that maybe in the end. Maybe we will. If the Astros win, I don't think we're talking about it. Screw the Astros. Anyways, we are Keys to the City. We're streaming all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So comment, like, subscribe, or share. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.